Hello guys, how you doing? Welcome, I am 𝗬𝘂𝗯𝐿 and this is Second Front from MicroProse. I've been invited to this exclusive playtest so that I can showcase the game and basically show it to you guys and let you see what's going on. Like with everything that's Microsoft based, this has a lot more depth in it than most games of this nature. This is a hex based, turn based military World War II military sort of RTS game, but it's unlike any game I've ever played before, and it's a little confusing. Normally when I do a first look video, it really is my first look, like I've never played it before, but I got myself in such a loop of confusion on this one that I had to play it a little bit. Even the tutorial I'm struggling with. So what we're going to do is we're going to play, and you can see I've got a victory announcement on this one. You have to complete this mission within 2 moves, and I did it, but I don't really know how. It's a bit confusing. I'll do my best to showcase this to you, but there's going to be a lot of learning going on whilst I'm playing. That's the reality of it. Right. As the Battle of Falaise Pocket wore down, the Germans began the process of breaking into small units that would try to sneak through gaps in the thin American line to find their way back to the German main line of resistance. In mid-August, the Big Red 1 Infantry Division, by now hardened veterans by US Army standards, was creating teams to cut off retreating elements heading towards Argentan. In one case, advanced elements of the Big Red 1 perceived a forest road being utilised by the 84th Infantry Division in order to hide from ever-present Allied ground attack aircraft. They were immediately ordered to cut the route. A few typos in there, but it's okay. So, military strength 3 and 3, August 25th, 1944. This is the tutorial. Now it basically tells you exactly how to win this mission, but it doesn't give you a lot of really important information. Like up here in the top right hand corner, you can see these phases. This is move and fire phase, move and fire. Then you've got just fire phase, and you've got this one which I can't remember what that is. And then you've got this one which is the move phase, and then this one is, I'm going to say recharge phase, but I don't mean recharge, I mean like refresh. I think it's refresh phase. Unlike any other game you've played before, normally it's turn-based. You take a turn, they take a turn. You take a turn, they take a turn. Not here. Not here. It's like 5... Each stage is like 5 mini stages. It's a bit confusing. And to be honest with you, I can't fully explain to you what's going on because I don't know what some of the stuff means. I'll do my best though. There's a lot of information here. Weather, the tier. This icon here is what tier you're on. So you can see we've got a sniper in the windmill. He's up on the top tier, which I think is a level 2 tier. And I believe that gives him a longer range of sight, so he can shoot further and see further. Then you've got these VPSs. I don't really know what that means yet, but if you do well, you earn VPS, and I think that's like a ranking up system or something. Binoculars here, I haven't been introduced to those at all. I don't know what they do. That's all. Should we just jump in and have a go? If you lead the American infantry in this first scenario, oh no, you do lead them. Your goal is to capture the victory buildings, 2 hexes, in 4 turns. I did it in 2 turns. I don't really know how, but I did. To achieve this, both hexes of the victory building must be free of enemy units and possessed by your units. The victory points will go down by 10 after the Germans have completed their turn. Honestly guys, if you like this kind of thing, this is the hardest version of this type of hex game I've ever played. It's so complicated. Well, it's not complicated, it's just so much more intense. You know, if you've got overwhelming military forces, it doesn't mean you're going to win. It really doesn't. Oh gosh, you're going to see in a minute. Right, now this confused me. This squad is broken. Now I thought it meant the cross like this. Okay, now I get it. This is why it's so confusing. This icon, squad is broken. That just means squad. That doesn't mean that they're broken at all. This means that they're broken. See this? And there's 2 levels of broken. There's 1 exclamation mark or 2 exclamation marks. Now, it never tells me what the difference between the 2 are, but I think it basically means that's how many turns you're going to have to wait before they're going to be able to fight again. Now, if you take an officer, this is one very cool thing. Up here, you've got officers and you've got infantry units, and you can move the officers between units. So the officer can break from his unit, send them into attack, and go and rally another unit and bring them back into the fight. You see what I mean? This is way more advanced than most hex-based, turn-based World War II games. I'm at the moment. I'll show you how that's done in a second. So I've got to send the officer to rally them, these guys over here, by separating the officer, basically what I just told you. Then they want me to examine the battlefield. Left click anywhere to deselect your units, move the mouse pointer over 2 enemies in the building, select the enemy fire range, which is 8 hexes. Let your infantry walk 2 hexes through the woods. The enemy will fire. You will have some cover by the woods. Deselect by left clicking anywhere and move the mouse over the enemy to examine the now reduced firepower and shorter range. The second fire has some limitations. It has reduced firepower. It is not possible on targets beyond the range to the closest visible target and not beyond half of the fire range of the firing unit. I think there's some broken English there which doesn't help the tutorial. The biggest problem with this, I think, is it gives you all of the tutorial and it says go. What it really needs to do is let you take 1 turn, give you the tutorial, let you take that turn, give you the next tutorial, let you take that turn. That way you're sort of learning a little at a time. But the way they're doing it here is like, here's all the information, now go and remember it. And it's like, what? Also a little ambiguous in places. Let your other infantry also walk towards the enemy to trigger the second fire. Deselect again and examine the enemy. After consuming their first and second fire, these 2 enemies have no more ability to fire. There's definitely some broken English which isn't helping. Right, now the way is free for the big stack. There is still weak enemy fire from the wooden buildings, but not good protection by the double wall hex side. Very confusing stuff. So basically, every hex has a certain number of attributes, and here on this particular hex where they want us to push into, I believe not only is there a wall there to protect us from the second enemy position, but also there are no windows or few windows on the side of the building so that we can push up relatively safely. Use the walk button. Don't run whenever possible, because running gives you more movement points, but also at a cost of poor aiming and poor chances in close combat. There is a cooldown time for running of 1 turn. So if you run towards a position and you get there and you think great, and then you go in for close quarters battles in the next turn, you're probably going to lose because they're still exhausted from having just run 250 yards or whatever it is. Yeah. To fire, right click on the adjacent enemy. The officer adds good aiming, better adjacent aiming, gives you an extra range of 1. SMG means good aiming. This arrow thing means very poor aiming because you have moved and the target has 3 excellent stone building cover. So they're inside the building. So where we're hiding behind a wall and we've got level 2 cover, they're inside the building, so they have level 3 cover. That's going to work in their favour again. Left click on the fire button, then move your remaining units and proceed to the next phase with the blah blah button. Right. Entering an adjacent hex with enemies is only possible in the advanced phase. That's this one here. Examine your chances for close combat. As the close combat takes place in a building, ambush is possible. The officer bonus turns the chances for ambush into your favour. On a successful ambush, the close quarter combat is more dangerous for the enemy and less dangerous for you. The close combat chances shown are for the case where no ambush takes place. Advance your remaining units to proceed with the plus button, and then all close combats are resolved. So that's all of the tutorial before we've even moved one piece. I think that needs to be looked at. Right. So, hovering over the enemy, we can see that they have got, basically, this unit are in range. So we don't want them to be shot at, if possible. We've got a unit over here, and you can see in the bottom right-hand corner we have a sergeant and 2 veteran units. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move them all the way over here. And we are going to run. But they're no good for fighting. And you can see that we've got one unit here with an exclamation mark over their head. So they're a broken unit and they need to be rallied. I don't know exactly when the rally happens. And I constantly move my officer before he's rallied the unit, thereby leaving them there completely unrallied again, and then I have to go back. There are other things, other situations whereby units can only move by 1 square or 1 hex or can't move at all, and in those situations I have absolutely no idea why at this point in time. So there's a lot of learning that's going to happen in this game. In addition, I'm trying to fight my way through it. I've got terrible hay fever today, so my throat and my nose are all sort of hogged up, and I'm finding it a little difficult to speak and concentrate, to be honest. Right, so the enemy have extended range, as you can see. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this unit up first. Now, when you pick where you want to go and you right click, you get the option to run or to walk. And I don't know what this means. This is a move and fire phase, so I assume we can walk, get fired at, and then fire on the enemy. Right, so now if we hover over them, you can see that their range has reduced. So now these guys are not within their fire range, but if we ran forwards, we would immediately be in fire range again. We'll do the same thing with these guys. Now they're double broken, so these guys are completely broken. I can't even shoot the enemy now. But what's happened is, by drawing their fire, I can't click on this now. Oh, maybe that's the point. By drawing their fire, they fired at us twice. They can't then fire at us again, so 3 units are enough to overwhelm a firing position effectively. Now this unit here is now clear to move all the way up. And they've got this little wall to protect them from these other bad guys over here. So we're going to walk to that position so that we're not fatigued. Then we can either fire at these enemies or fire at these enemies. Now they appear to be hovering over it. There's a lot of information there which I don't fully understand yet. But I believe these guys in here, because they've been fired at and they've got no ammo left, they're reloading or whatever, they are now in a very precarious position. So if we attack them, we've got a star. Broken, we've weakened them, so these guys are now double broken. So on the next move phase, or their next move phase, I presume they're going to pull out of that position, allowing us to then push in to that position. Right, let's move on to the next phase. Now I try and look to see what sort of range my sniper has, and I still don't actually know. Can you get a shot on these guys? We can. So they're taking a bit of fire from our sniper as well, which is good. Right. Next phase. Now this is just a fire phase. This is just, you can't move at all. All you can do is fire. And there you go. They've routed. So even though you can't move, they have moved. Things like this that aren't yet crystal clear on how they work for me. And we can push in as well. We've now entered the building, which suggests there's going to be... Oh, that's because we're in the advanced phase, that's why. So those phases have moved on without me touching anything. We've moved into the building. I think that's all I can do at this point in time. I can't shoot at anybody. Now it's a melee phase. It looks like we've done well. We've pretty much taken control of this area. And we're back into the move and fire phase. So here come the reinforcements. They're firing at us here. We're now pinned. So the situation is not ideal. Still these guys are routed, so they still can't move. Quite a big problem. So it looks like these guys have no range on us, so I think we could... Well, I thought we could move... Why are we in the fire range now? What happened to the move range? That's confused me somewhat. Okay, now we're struggling. I did better than this in my last go, which I didn't record, unfortunately. We may well fail this mission. Escape phase. So these guys are now running for their lives. Our guys might well run as well. Got loads of XP points there because we took the building. That's now ours. The enemy are right outside. We've got a little hedge here protecting them, but that's it. Oh, okay, that's it. We've taken it. Now, if you look at where all the enemy are positioned in that particular scenario, I still don't feel like we took that. I feel like we're imminently going to get pushed back out again. But according to the game, we have achieved the victory conditions. You can see why. I mean, it's totally different from other Hex turn-based games. And I'm sure once I get used to it, that's really going to work very well. But right now, I don't feel like I've been given enough information to really fully understand what's going on. So I feel a little bit wishy-washy with this one at the moment. Anyway, scenario, the mill. 2 turns, victory points 43. Directed by a sniper that had found a decent field of fire at the top of a windmill, veterans of the Big Red One took their own initiative and with a handful of squads and Lieutenant Bob Wilkes, a 90-day wonder, managed to get their weapons fixed on the road until heavy weapons brought to bear. It wasn't long before General Hans Liebig lost his nerve and ordered the route to be abandoned, later surrendering to the Americans near Patang. The sharp-eyed sharpshooter in the mill, whose name is lost to history, had cost the Germans an entire division. Oh, look at that, we're actually 4th. That's pretty good. I don't know how this guy got 53. What did he do different? But okay. So we can continue on. Right, we now have this unit. You see that they're no longer fatigued or whatever. So if I select on them and just select the sergeant, I come over here to these guys, and it's going to take a whole long time before these guys are available for battle, but we have at least made some progress. But the only option to get here is to run. If I go here, I can walk. So I'm going to walk to here, because then they'll be more useful for firing. But you see, they've got pinned down by the enemy, so now they can't move. What I probably should have done is shoot at these guys first. So now they're broken. They're making a stand. They're not broken, they're making a stand. This unit is still no good to us. I don't think I can get any shots on anyone here. Maybe I can get a shot with the sniper. Okay, I think that's that turn done. So we've routed 3 of their units, and they seem to be gathering here, which could be a problem in the long term. So this is the advanced phase. See, now that unit can only move 1 square. I don't really know why that is. We've pushed 1 square up. Don't think these guys can move now. Okay. Now this is the melee phase. Now it's a recovery phase. And now we're back into a move and fire phase. So there you go. We've weakened and wounded this enemy. We still can't move, but we can shoot them. We've killed a couple of their guys. We've definitely weakened them. Sniper just misses every shot he makes. We've got a new unit here who cannot move. Now it seems to have switched from this phase to this phase without me really saying do that, which is a bit frustrating. So are we now in another fire phase? Or is it because I fired? Maybe it's because I fired we move on to the next phase. Could very well be it, couldn't it? Right, now this is the advanced phase. They're trying to push into the building. Oh, hang on, what's happened here? It's all gone red. Ambush, it says. Melee phase. We killed this guy. He tried to push into the building and we killed him. These guys have now rallied. These guys are back in the fight, which is very good for us. Now this is a new movement option where you can crawl along the floor, thereby being less visible, less likely to get attacked. I'm just going to hold them there. I'm going to run these guys in here because they've been taking a lot of fire. These guys can walk up, so that'll give us an option to attack here. So this is move and fire phase. So I think so long as I don't fire, it will stay in the move and fire phase. But as soon as I fire a bullet, then moves on to the next stage. Let's see. You see, it's still in the move and fire phase. I don't understand why that is. These guys are going to break any second now, I'd have thought. Look at that. Totally broken, I'm not surprised. These guys can't get a shot. These guys can't see these guys. I think these guys are dead, I'm not 100% sure. So now we're in the fire phase. Immediately moving on to the escape phase. They've routed rather. Climb the wall. Costs us a bit of cover, but it's okay. And now my men can only move 1 square. I don't really know why that is. Probably because it's just an advanced phase. Kind of makes sense, I guess. These are all things that weren't really very well explained, so... So 2 of these units have rallied, so we're going to have enemies coming at us pretty soon. Here they go, here they come, look. Pushing up again. Now perhaps I should have stayed in the building because that gives us more cover, I don't know. So we've moved out of the move and fire phase straight into the fire phase. There are still things I don't understand. Nobody can fire, so we just have to go to the escape phase. Excuse my... They failed to rally. They're still... So now we can move and attack the enemy. So I'm going to walk into this position. I'm going to fire on this enemy. Push on them the other side. So they're caught in a crossfire. So I ran that unit, which I shouldn't have done, but they've gone to a double routed position now. I think they're done for, to be honest. It's down here, we're not really sure what's going to happen. I'm going to bring this unit in as well, just to put extra pressure on these guys. There's a lot of missing going on. Okay, let's skip to the next phase. What I find interesting is that the enemy are not leaving the fight completely. They're just standing in a hex. You know, maybe they should surrender or something. So the advanced phase is very much single movement. Chasing these guys away. Melee phase. So we took a stand, the enemy have been killed. They failed to rally. Recovery phase. They're not going to recover when they're broken like this, being hunted down by us. So we've killed them. They're outright dead now. They don't exist anymore. It looks like our unit has been routed. No, that's theirs, right? That's their officer. Or surrendered. Saw surrender pop up somewhere then. They can't fire. I think they should surrender in a situation like that. I mean, what can they do? KIA surrender. So that's it. I think we've wiped out all the enemy from this area completely. And one thing I like about the game, which I haven't really got into yet because I haven't got into the missions, this is just the tutorial, is that it's a persistent battle situation. So it's ongoing. There's no set scenario procedure. It's an ongoing evolution of movement and battle, including fatigue, injuries, deaths, resupply units, all that kind of stuff. I'm really looking forward to seeing what that's all about. Oh, and if you press spacebar, you get this low down 3D view as well. I don't know what to do now, because there are no enemies to chase. But how do I end this scenario is my question. Let's get to the end of this phase and see if the game acknowledges that there's no enemy left. but immediately moves past the move and fire phase straight into the fire phase. I don't understand quite why that's happening either. Right, well, it just seems to be going around in circles, so I'm going to hit escape. Go. There is a manual. I think I might have to have a look at that. Continue. No. Quick game. I don't know what the options are. That just gives me information about the scenario. And I'll go back to the main menu. Okay, so the menu has opened on another screen. I'm gonna end this video here, and I'm gonna read the manual, and then I'll come back and do some more combat rather than tutorial, which I struggled with a bit. But so take this as a first look, and I'll follow this up with a lot more gameplay and hopefully some more clarity on how to play. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.